Namaste, greetings and blessings, and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts. This is our Sunday message, and I am Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, the founder and spiritual director of this center. And I invite you to watch not only this Sunday message, but any of our archived messages. I invite you to join any classes or events that we have going on. I invite you to reach out and email if you have any questions. Questions about this community, questions about me, questions about what we do, or questions about this science of mind and spirit, liberation theology that we practice and teach. And if by chance you find yourself seeking beloved community with other like-minded beings, even if you already belong, are a member of another community, church, or center, you are more than free to have multiple affiliations wherever you are fed and find community. You are invited. And lastly, feel free to click like, subscribe, and share this or any other message or announcements with others in your circle. And with that, much appreciation, love, and blessings. Enjoy the message. Namaste and greetings. It's that time of year. I pray that your holiday season has been and continues to be a very joyful, healing, and transformative one. And as we come to the end of this year, preparing to start a new year, how fitting it is that we end on release, refresh, and renew. But there's more. Now, let me warn you right now that because this is our last message of the year, I may go a little long. So feel free to leave and return and watch the recording. Won't go that far over, but just be prepared. Release, refresh, and renew. Earlier this month, we discussed what it means to release the old, to release that which no longer serves us in life-affirming ways. And by releasing it, it gives us greater expansive space where we are now able to awaken into the newness of who we are choosing to be. A newness where we are refreshed, renewed, and ready to go, ready to act. So just as a snake will shed its skin throughout its lifetime, several times throughout its lifetime, in order to accommodate the new body, the new growth, as well as to remove any parasites or damaging effects to their skin, to their being. So they shed to let it go. Just like that, we are invited as well to do the same. To do the same in ways that give us the ability to regenerate, rejuvenate, revitalize with the same evolutionary, revolutionary energy of what it means to be open at the top and open at the bottom, to be aligned, to live, move, and have our beingness in such a way that this new energy, this revitalizing energy, gives us the ability to fully be alive and do what we are here to do. Breathe. So as we dive in, and we start with, yes, the title, release, refresh, and renew. But wait, there's more. I feel, just because it's my own practice, that there are a few things that are important to add in. So yes, release and receive. Because if I let it go, then now I am in a space to receive the new. Just like I release the seeds and let them go to the soil, which means I am ready to receive the vegetables or the flowers that will then grow. I receive the beauty, I receive the food and the nutrition. Refresh, renew, reveal. So what's the point in doing any of this if we are not revealing it, if we are not expressing it, if we are not demonstrating it? And then once that, then what? Do it again. Repeat. Everything that we do as a spiritual practice, as truth, should be a repeatable action. Now, with that in mind, breathe, take it all in. The great lesson is that life delivers itself into our capacity to receive it. The outpouring from the cosmic horn of plenty can only fill the cup that is lifted up toward it. A pail turned upside down or turned on its side cannot be filled with the rain from heaven. So this phrase in the middle, horn of plenty, you know what that means? You know, it's referencing. Is that something you're familiar with? Because I know a lot of people aren't. Horn of plenty. So let's dissect it a smidge. Now, I know Thanksgiving was a month ago, but the concept, the horn of plenty, is where this thing comes from. This thing, you may be familiar by its other name, a cornucopia, which is a symbol of abundant blessings. Take that in. Because what Holmes was talking about, okay? Now, we're not going to go into this, but for your own edification, I invite you to look into, come back to this slide and read what it says about the idea of the horn of plenty as it relates to Greek mythology. It's quite insightful. And I believe that it will add a little bit of metaphysical depth to what we're talking about. But I'm not going to go over this with you right now. I'm inviting you to do it on your own. So, horn of plenty. Now, it's not just the horn of plenty, right? But for the moment, let's, like, he seems to be a little bit befuddled right now. What is the horn of plenty in terms of what we are talking about? Well, clearly it's when we refer to being open at the top. There's the horn of plenty, this multitudinous, infinite expression that is the universe itself. Right? Or like even if you turn the teaching symbol on its side, it's sort of like, you know, the cornucopia. It sort of has a similar shape. But what we're talking about is a cosmic horn of plenty. How the universe itself continues to express and to give. To Holmes's point, our question was, to what degree are we receiving? To what degree are we receiving? I'm going to go back for a moment. Are we receiving to such a degree that there is an overflow, or are we receiving to the degree where it's just, I just got a little bit in here, so I'm going to sit. I just can sit because I don't have much. Or is it something larger? Or is it something even larger than, like, to what degree are we open to receive? Brene Brown reminds us, until we can receive with an open heart, we're never really giving with an open heart. As you give, so you receive. If we're not receiving, because it works both ways, circulation, if we are not able to receive with an open heart, we cannot give from or with an open heart. When we attach judgment to receiving help, when we attach judgment to receiving help, we knowingly or unknowingly attach judgment to giving help. How many of us do not like to ask anyone for help? We knowingly or unknowingly are also attaching judgment to what it means to give help. And we could, insert many other words in here other than help. The concept. Bell Hooks reminds us that a generous heart is always open, always ready to receive our coming and our going, our circulation. In the midst of such love, we need never fear abandonment. This is the most precious gift that true love offers. the experience of knowing that we always belong. So if we always belong, then do we not have a right to do what Oliver is doing? He wanted more. Please, sir, I want some more. To which the judgment, the egoic mind says, more? How dare you ask for or expect more? More what? More love? More acceptance? More justice? More equity? More inclusion? How dare you ask for or expect more? See, this is the judgment. When it comes from that place of a closed heart, as well as a place where the giving, the receiving, it's not generous, it's stingy, it's hoarding. It's, well, we can't give everyone equity, for if we give everyone equity, there will not be enough equity for me. We can't give everyone freedom, for if we give everyone freedom, then I will have less freedom. What? We can't let everyone continue to breathe, because if we let everyone continue to breathe, I will not have enough oxygen to breathe. What? That same judgment, knowingly or unknowingly, will kick in if it isn't there already. Pause. Breathe. The more often a stupidity is repeated, the more it gets the appearance of wisdom. See, just because someone says something. And to that note, let's go over to this. Do we understand that it also not only, the appearance of wisdom, but it also gives off the appearance of justice? Right. It also gives off the appearance of something that is moral or something that is ethical. The more often a stupidity is repeated, the more often it appears that it's just, equitable, moral, ethical. What? Do we have examples of this? Because this is confusing. Do we have, okay, thank you. Officer, for example. So who said this? If you know, type it into the chat quickly before he reveals the answer. The receptivity of the masses is very limited. Their intelligence is small, but their power of forgetting is enormous. In consequence of these facts, all effective propaganda, lies and stupidity, must be limited to a very few points and must harp on these in slogans until the last member of the public domain understands what you want him or want them to understand based upon this slogan. So you repeat the stupidity, or as this person says, you repeat the propaganda enough to those who have limited and small intelligence, who are quick to forget. Repeat it. They're eating the cats and dogs. And more. Harp on it until the last member of the public domain understands what you want and expect of them by way of the slogan. Who said this? Adolf Hitler. You get why this is an example? Do you get how powerful this is? in reference to what it means to control a person's mind in non-life affirming ways, while tricking them to believe that it's life affirming, saying this great grand stupidity, but making them think that it's wisdom, convincing them that it is moral and ethical and just. Just because something is legal doesn't always make it right. The Holocaust was legal, while hiding Jews and helping them escape was criminalized. Slavery was legal, while helping individuals escape slavery to freedom, teaching or letting them learn to read or write was criminalized. Segregation, Jim Crow, was legal, while protesting segregation, protesting racism was against the law. Breathe. In actual practice, this means that we rearrange our thinking in such a way that we permit new ideas to flow in. The ideas, fears, and tensions that obstructed this flow are released. The stream flows free again. It is in this sense that God, creation itself, is the answer to every human problem. The answer to racism, God, source, spirit. The answer to global warming, God, source, spirit. And because God, source, spirit is precisely what we are, then we are the answer to it. But are we allowing the stream to flow in such a way that we understand it that way and we apply it that way in order to experience it? Things change, things evolve, even something as, what's the word I want to use? Commonplace as a camera, right? Like everybody's familiar with a camera or taking pictures to some degree. People are very familiar. And even if it's not a professional camera, people are familiar with what it means to take a camera with their smartphone. But the camera itself evolved over time. If the camera evolved, and medicine evolved, and science evolved, and the television evolved, the light bulb evolved, the automobile evolved, why aren't we? Why are we still in a culture and society of racism and sexism and homophobia, etc.? Because we are obstructing the flow. We are not releasing the old in favor of the new. Renewal requires opening yourself up to new ways of thinking and feeling. A modern camera, in order for it to exist, someone had to be open to new ideas that say, well, wait a minute, if we do this with the film or we do this with the lens, then we get crisper pictures. And if we do this and we develop it this way, and if we do this with the paper, so are we truly willing to renew our minds? There's a great metaphysical lesson to be learned. This is why I say it's all spiritual practice. To be learned from what this gentleman is doing. What is he doing? What is this activity called? Laundry. From laundry, what do we learn? We learn the same process. Everything we've talked about thus far. We learn that you wash the clothes, you dry the clothes, you iron the clothes, you put the clothes away, fold them, hang them, you put them away, you wear them. And then what do you throw them away after that? No, you repeat. But why? Because the clothes get wrinkled again, the clothes get dirty again. And so we renew, we release, because I must surrender the clothes to the washing machine and the dryer. I let them go. Means I take them off. I don't get in the machine with them. I release, I surrender them. The whole process, renew them, they become revitalized, they become refreshed, they become brand new, they become clean. I iron them, fold them, etc., simply to go get dirty all again. Or as Tracy says, you do realize you have an apron for that. Stop wiping your hands on your pants. Your pants are not a napkin. It's not a paper towel. Tracy. But this is the process. So if we do this with our clothes, and we understand this, why don't we do this with our consciousness, with our regular everyday living? My definition of success is fulfillment. The bonus is that a person who is fulfilled sleeps well at night and wakes up refreshed. Do you see release and repeat in this? Okay, so we surrender and we allow the bed or whatever it is to hold us, and we surrender wakefulness to allow sleep and REM to now become. We allow the subconscious to come to the forefront of, and dreams and all the other things, while our body rests and is renewed and reinvigorated through the process of sleep, which is vital for mental clarity and healthy, effective body maintenance. Because sleep deprivation wears the mind down and then wears the body down. And health risks come out as a result of, such as the risk of heart disease from lack of sleep. Just saying, and all kinds of other things. The bonus is that a person who is fulfilled sleeps well at night and wakes up refreshed. Now, this doesn't mean you're not going to have some nights where, it just means predominantly this is what happens. So to be fulfilled means you are allowing yourself to rest, to recharge, to be renewed. However you do so, we understand that we have to charge our phones. We charge the laptop. We make sure the battery for the camera is charged. Are we doing that for our own bodies and minds? Are we doing that for our relationships? A small cut, the doctor can bandage. But as for the actual healing, the doctor does nothing. This thing called infinite life knows how to renew the cells and knit them back together again, to rebuild blood vessels and nerves. The doctor doesn't do that. The physician facilitates, they put a cast on the arm, but they don't make the bone rejoin and heal. They facilitate the conditions so that the body can better do what the body does, right? Because it's the bone is going to do what it does. And if it's not set correctly, it will mend poorly or in a crooked manner. So the doctor will set it so that it fits perfectly, so that it heals perfectly. But, and this is an important point, through prayer, we may assist, promote, and speed up the activity of healing. As we align our thinking with the creative action of the infinite intelligence, as we knowingly accept, receive, and permit its increased action through the cut, through our body, through whatever it is, this is what occurs: healing. We are not responsible for creating that action, but we are responsible for knowing and permitting and receiving such action to take place in us and as us. Breathe. There is an inner life into which we may plunge, an inner consciousness in which we may bathe, as water purifies itself by flowing. So our inner realization of the flow of life through us and as us purifies the stagnant pools of our fears, judgments, doubts. Travelers crossing the desert, covered with dust and filled with weariness, seek the refreshment of an oasis, the shelter of a rock in a weary land, the cool shade under a spreading palm tree. So we, with a mind weary with confusion and frustration and anger, resentment, bitterness, and exhausted with too much effort, should seek a spiritual oasis, a place of inner communion with the invisible presence that is us itself. How are we ensuring that we are open to receiving what the universe has to offer? How do we ensure that we, if the cosmic horn of plenty is pouring, how do we know if we are open to receiving from the outpour of? See, there are a lot of ways that we block a blessing. There are a lot of ways that we say no to the universe. We hinder in the same way that, I could do certain things that are going to make it more difficult for me to breathe. I am hindering the free flow of oxygen. There are certain things I could do where if I stop brushing my teeth, it's going to cause problems. Not just bad breath, but eventually they all gonna be gone. And as we know, with gum disease, there are other bodily issues that come up with gum disease, like heart disease. Did you know that your mouth, the health of your mouth can affect? Yeah, it does. There are many ways that we can block, and in fact do block, the goodness of. And I don't mean just us individually, the collective consciousness. That's why all of those isms and phobias are still an issue, because we are obstructing, we are blocking, we are not receiving the infinite inflow, outflow, flow period of the divine. Evolution is an eternal unfoldment. Remember the camera? Life reveals itself to whoever is receptive to it. Think about a beautiful sunrise. Well, no, just take beautiful off. Think about a sunrise or a sunset. They happen every day, but not everyone partakes of them, and not everyone refers to them as beautiful or gorgeous or stunning. So life is forever revealing itself, but only those who are receptive to it are the ones who partake of this infinite, eternal unfoldment and evolution. The wise person reveals more than words spoken. See, it's easy to say something. Oh, I'm open and I'm loving and I'm this and I'm that. But we reveal far more in our silence and in our actions than our words may convey. The wise person is aware of this, and they act accordingly. Your faith can penetrate clouds of unbelief and reveal the truth, which is forever perfect. Your words do not create this truth. Your words merely reveal it. When we understand the power of our words, it is far easier to understand that what we are saying is conveying far more than just what the words, quote unquote, mean. Someone says, "Hey, Ray, how are you today?" And I may say, "I'm fine." But depending on the energy that comes through and communicates to this person who is open and receptive, they hear something or they sense something and they push. "No, seriously, how are you?" To which I then, feeling their empathy, I lower my obstruction, I lower my guard, and I share with them, I'm grieving, I'm depressed, whatever it may be. Are we listening in an attentive manner to be able to hear beyond just hearing? We are always revealing something to the world, something to one another. The question is, what are we revealing? Are we revealing a life that is non-life affirming, a life of lack and scarcity, or are we revealing a source supported, spirit empowered, super expression of life? Breathe. Only repetition with a goal in mind can truly lead to mastery. Sometimes you can keep rehearsing, keep doing something without actually learning anything new. Now, really take that in, because there are a lot of folks who they repeat spiritual mind treatments. They do meditation every day. They'll light a candle and some incense and, they'll do whatever their practice is every day. And yet they're not learning anything new. They are not unfolding or evolving. Why not? Because they're not doing the other work. It's got to be a full expression, a full practice. Whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion, that is what becomes a reality one day. That's why the four pillars of the mental equivalent: thoughts, beliefs, the ways we communicate, our emotions and feelings, and our actions. All four of these have to be aligned. And then we are far more likely to experience whatever that is, for that to manifest and become a lived reality. So just like someone learning martial arts, you practice until it becomes second nature. You practice until it becomes instinctual. You practice until you don't have to think about it. It simply becomes who you are. In the New Thought Dictionary, it says that race belief, or the collective consciousness, has a tendency to repeat. Thought patterns formed by the consensus of human opinion automatically operate through everyone unless and until it is consciously, they say rejected, I'm going to say replaced, removed and replaced. So if we want to get rid of all of those isms and all of that stuff, war, etc., then we must consciously know what we are rejecting, replacing, removing, and then installing into the collective consciousness. Rather than saying, well, there's never any mission madam, because they're always gonna manipulate. Stop repeating and change the pattern. We've done this with so many things already, so we know that it's possible. We know it's possible, but we're not applying it to everything, because there are certain things that scare us more to go there in order to change. See, there's no real emotional investment in changing the telephone, changing the camera, and evolving through. I'm not invested in that. But the moment, am I invested in ableism? I might be. Because certain things I say or reference or believe about people in wheelchairs, or people in the deaf community, or people with cerebral palsy, or pick a thing. If I have certain unconscious beliefs or biases related to that, then in order for me to reject, I have to acknowledge. I don't want to acknowledge that I have biases towards people who are heavier. I have biases towards people who are dark-skinned. No, not me. No. You mean I as a white person have bias towards brown-skinned people? No. Some of my best friends are Black. This is why we don't confront it, because we are afraid to look at ourselves in the mirror. The reason that we term the use of creative thought as a science is the fact that it can be taught, it can be learned, it can be consciously applied with a certainty of definite and repeatable results to a degree. And so this is what we mean when we say there is a science of mind. By doing the work with the four mental equivalents in a particular way, there will be a change in the outcome in some way, shape, or form. Now, what that is, we cannot 100% guarantee all the time, but there will be a result. 100% of the time. You know what this movie is? Right, Karate Kid. And in this scene, Daniel is asking, hey, what kind of belt do you have? Canvas, JCPenney, $3.98. You like? Miyagi then laughs. Daniel says, no, I meant, and then Miyagi cuts him off and says, in Okinawa, belt mean no need rope, hold up pants. He laughs again and then in a serious tone says, Daniel-san, karate here. Karate here. Karate never, and then he points to his belt. Meaning, that which is the divine, that which is spirit, that which is source, that which is the truth of our power is an internal thing. It is not about the external. In other words, a belt does not quantify your talent or your skill. A piece of paper doesn't quantify your talent or your skill. A minister's stole doesn't quantify your talent or your skill. The external can acknowledge it, but it doesn't qualify or quantify it. The belt is a symbol, a representation of. And just a summary of this, once again, I invite you to come back and read this. The summary of this is a student asked the master, I want to get a black belt. How long will it take? The master says 10 years. The student says, what in the world, 10 years? Well, what if I train twice as hard, more than everybody else? Then the master says 20 years. Okay, well, what if I train every day, day in, day out, I dedicate myself completely? The master says 30 years. The student is like, well, okay, I'm frustrated now. What's going on? Why do I keep, the more I say I'm going to practice, the more you say it's going to take, the longer it's going to take. And the master basically says, because you are so focused on the end result, you're pushing it further away. How many of us are so focused on the end result rather than the journey? I want to get licensed as a practitioner. I don't want the journey. I want this, but I don't want the journey. I want to be fluent in ASL, but I don't want the journey. I want to be able to walk 5 miles a day, but I don't want the journey. I want to get to Japan and visit Japan, but I don't want the journey. The journey is part of the practice. And if we're going to truly master it, then like Miyagi and Daniel with the chopsticks trying to catch a fly, Miyagi, you know, he's trying and he's trying and he's trying. And then Daniel does it on his first try, quote unquote, try, his first try. And Miyagi is like, what? Beginner's luck. And he's, you know, he's a little bit frustrated. And it makes for a funny scene. But, and, you know, Daniel asked him, have you been able to catch one yet? And Miyagi's like, no, not yet. But eventually Miyagi is like, snap, and he catches it. But why? Because he was diligent, convicted, and dedicated to, I will practice. I will do this. I will live this. Are we doing the same thing with science of mind and spirit? The Science of Mind and Spirit 4.0 gives us the means to release what does not serve us or the world, to be receptive to the blessings, gifts, and vast ways the universe gives, to do what we need to do to refresh and renew our bodies, minds, hearts, and spirits, as well as relationships and connections, to reveal our divine magnificence and the truth of spiritual principles that we study, practice, and live, and to repeat the good and the effective life-affirming things daily, to sustain our lives, just like breathing. Breathe. This week's affirmation, our declaration, I will say it first. If it resonates with you, I invite you to repeat it with me the second time. As I release, I receive. And by receiving, I am refreshed and renewed. And this is revealed and repeated in the way I live my life. Together. As I release, I receive. And by receiving, I am refreshed and renewed. And this is revealed and repeated in the way I live my life. And so it is. This week's journal questions, or if it's the Thursday night study group. In what ways do I practice the 6 R's? Release, receive, refresh, renew, reveal, repeat. Which of the 6 R's do I resist practicing, and why do I resist? Number 3. In what ways do I tap into, receive from the cosmic horn of plenty? And what is the evidence? Number 4. What is one thing that I can begin practicing daily? Truly practice daily. Not just repeat it for the sake of repeating it, but to practice it in ways that make me evolve, learn, grow, etc. And lastly, what would my life look like if I revealed more authentically who and what I am? Breathe. Our practice this week. Are you ready? This week, our final Sunday of the month. And that's not the right one. Boo humbug. That should have been swapped out, but hey, it wasn't swapped out. So have a conversation with someone about the 6 R's and how each of them show up on any given day throughout the day. So, for example, release. How many different ways today have I thus far released? What does it mean for me to release? Okay. In what ways have I renewed or demonstrated renewal of something or anything, etc.? Have a conversation with someone about the 6 R's and how they show up in your life on a daily basis. And as we close out with prayer, we close out simply with a blessing of gratitude for how this year has gone. Yes, I know that there have been ups and downs and bumps and bruises from all kinds of things. Yes. And still, there is reason to receive and accept the vast blessings that we have and are aware of. So even in the midst of political chaos, we are anchored and grounded in the principles of freedom, liberation, emancipation. And by being grounded and anchored in that and as that, we are blessed. We are blessed by our creative ideas. We are blessed with community. We are blessed with other like-minded individuals who are able to come together to know the truth of ourselves, of the world, and to be dedicated to this truth, to making it manifest and outpicture as the lived experience across this planet so that everyone experiences equity, justice, food safety, and more. That peace and peacefulness is known by every person, every child, every neighborhood, every city, every village. So as this year comes to a close, we anchor and ground in the blessings, and it is these blessings that we take into the new year and allow them to be multiplied in ways that we cannot even imagine. That we not simply receive from the horn of plenty, the cosmic horn of plenty, but that we are the active embodiment of it. That blessings flow through us and from us and as us. Not just that we are receiving it from somewhere outside of us, but that we are the active embodiment of it. We bless one another. We love one another. We support one another. We listen to one another. We care. We create. And we manifest a world that works for all. Not just for me, not just for them, a world that works for all. So we are healing the consciousness, the collective consciousness. We are healing it and transforming it and transmuting it so that the new repeated elements of consciousness are peace and love, beloved community, inclusion, and more. And so we breathe. We breathe knowing that as the new year comes in and we begin saying Happy New Year, within that happy, we are also blessing. This new year is a new year of wholeness, perfection, and completeness. This new year is a year of love demonstrating, of community demonstrating, of all that is life affirming, ease and grace and joy. So in this happy new year, I know that it is truly a demonstration of prayer being manifest, being active, and being lived. Breathe. And so it is. And so it is. So next time I see you, it will be the new year. So make sure you make note of the new time changes. There's going to be a new theme song for our center and a couple of moving parts with first Sunday meditation starting at a different time. It'll go for 30 minutes. There will be I guess it's a 5-minute break. And then the new intro video will begin roughly 10 minutes before the hour. And then roughly at the top of the hour, we shall begin with our regularly scheduled Sunday message. Shaking stuff up, transforming lives, healing lives, loving lives, coming together, doing what we are here to do. So I look forward to seeing you in the new year, seeing you during the week for classes and events, all that good stuff. Love and appreciate you as always. Blessings. See you soon.